to us.
Okay.
Where are you from?
Yeah.
Mom's from St. Vincent. I'm from Etobicoke.
Ah. Yay, Mom! Small people recording anything. Yay!
SVG in the house.
Yes.
Eastern Antilles in the house.
All right, so we are live. We are broadcasting right now, so we'll edit out a lot of this stuff. Don't worry.
Okay.
Everybody ready? We're gonna start this.
Ready.
Thank you. Like before we even begin, I just want to say thank you to everybody for really being a part of this. It's something that is near and dear to my heart, and I really appreciate you being the people to start this off with me and really start something different and make a difference and shape the way we think in Canada and do things differently. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
Our pleasure.
Yes, likewise.
from my heart to yours. All right, so here we go. Everybody ready?
We're ready.
Ready? Are you ready? You ready?
So you're watching Black in Canada, and I'm your host, Ricardo McCrae. Today is the very first episode in a series of conversations that matter. Our jumping off point, black hair. Whether you lock it, press it, weave it up, one thing's for sure, everyone has something to say about black hair. Minto Group reports that since 2009, sales of chemical relaxers fell by 30% across North America. Our question is, has natural hair made a comeback? Joining us in our hangout today, I'll say that last piece again. Joining us in our hangout today is Irene Morgan, owner of LocSuria Hair Salon since 1996.
Correction. Rennie's Hair Designs is the name of the salon, and LocSuria Natural Hair Care System is the name of the product line.
Remy?
Rennie, Reennys, Rennie's Hair Designs.
Rennie with an N like Nancy?
Yes,
Rennie Hair Designs.
Rennie's Hair Designs.
96.
Yeah.
Awesome. We will fix it all in post, my friends.
All right. Thank you.
David. So joining us today in our hangout is Irene Morgan, owner of Rennie Hair Designs Hair Salon since 1996 and the creator of LocSuria Natural Hair Care System. Jelani Morgan, anthropology and African studies major and renowned photographer who cut his locks off just over, I'll say that piece again. Jelani Morgan, anthropology and African studies major, renowned photographer who recently cut off his locks of 10 years. Adiam Gabri, raised in Regina, she's the founder of Philosophia. Adiam Gabri, raised in Regina, she is the founder of Philosophia Swimwear, breaking the mold and challenging your swimwear philosophy. Carlin Purcell, author and founder of Sister Talk TO, a women's empowerment network and financial services professional. Kristen James, out on the prowl to spot what's hot. Kristen James, out on the prowl to spot what's hot in TO. She's the co-founder of the Neon Leopard, a popular lifestyle blog. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So, Adiam, you've had natural hair your whole life. You grew up in Regina. What was that like for you?
Growing up in Regina and having natural hair was, well, I didn't really embrace it back then because I was just trying to, kind of fly under the radar because I was one of the only black kids in school, in elementary school. And so I always just had it back or had it in braids and didn't really want to draw any more attention to myself because I have such curly hair. Like, I didn't want to stand out in a sea full of, straight, white, tame hair kind of thing.
So were you the only black kid in school?
Yeah, in elementary school, I was the only black kid up until grade 6. Grade 6.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was, you grow up with weird kind of, insecurities about being black, but then, later when there were more black kids, and even in high school there's more ethnic people, then you become more comfortable, or I became more comfortable, and then I finally embraced the curly locks.
Lovely, lovely. And
It's beautiful.
You also had
MBA.
you also worked in the financial services for a while.
I
What was that like? Like, what did you do with your hair when you were working in corporate, working in a major financial institution?
So I worked in a major financial institution for just over 3 years,
Right.
and it was a gentle reminder of how different you need to be in order to fit in. Like it was kind of like was revisiting my childhood in the sense like I didn't want to. I went into the interview, let's say, like with straight hair, because I didn't want my curly hair to be. Pardon me. It looks like you're going to say something.
Yeah. Well, did you process it or did you just
No.
like?
No, yeah. I blow dry it and then straighten it.
Okay.
And then so it's kind of like go into an interview, win them over, because yes, I had the merit, yes, I had the education, but I didn't, people, they're not really used to seeing such a like wild look. And yeah, and so when you see a wild look, you don't really know how to deal with it, especially in corporate life. So it was kind of like, okay, well, I tamed it, and then once I kind of solidified my role in the company, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna let this all out now because it's too late. You can't fire me.
Pass my probation.
Pass my probation. So,
Carlin, you're also in corporate and in finance. You've had natural hair. You currently have braids. You've had your hair processed for a while. What was that like, and what made you change, and what was the experience like? Was it different every time you did that?
Well, for me, I echo Jill Scott. I think when she chopped her hair off a few years ago, she said that hair is just an accessory. And for me, that's how I see my hair. I'm from the Caribbean, so I've always had my hair processed. And when I moved to Canada, I continued with the same look, quote unquote. And over the past year and a half, I've been on this more of an in-depth journey of who I am and who do I want to be. So I'm pursuing all aspects of myself. And so when I made the decision to chop off my hair, I never give it a thought of how will the financial industry accept me, because I had already accepted myself. So it was more from I am going to do what makes me happy. If you guys are not happy, that's okay. But I've never really had the issue of how will they think or what will they say, because I had gotten quite comfortable with who I am. So same thing for the braids. Like, I mean, every winter I change my look. I either put weave or I put, this is the first time I'm putting braids. And you get the same thing all the time. People are like, oh, wow, I love your hair. So you always wear it back. This is the first time I'm seeing it down. And I'm like, no, I wear Halle Berry short hair. There's no way from last week to today that this was all wrapped somewhere in there. Like, it's so crazy how people don't get that. But going back to what Adiam, what you said, like, I mean, Toronto is so diverse. Like, I have a colleague who sits right next to me, and her hair is like yours, and she wears it nice and big, and it's just fantastic.
Sweet.
So and for me, it's been great.
Do you feel any sort of backlash or implication for wearing natural hair or seeing other people in the office with natural hairs? This is a primarily conservative country. It's a conservative financial institution. So do you see any sort of backlash or implications for wearing natural hair in the office?
To be honest, I haven't seen any, and I haven't experienced it. And the people I do know in the office who have natural hair, I haven't heard anything negative. I have encountered other people within the financial industry who have shared that I'm afraid to wear my hair out, and I'm afraid to let people see it. So they have it all, back and straight, because of the perception of not being accepted or not being embraced by it. But for me, what I would say is, let it out and wear your hair, and whatever is supposed to happen will happen. I think once we accept that part of ourselves, believe it or not, people are intrigued and they will accept us as well.
Awesome. So it's like when you accept yourself and you just be you, nobody has a problem with that. It seems to be good.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, otherwise we'll just perpetuate that kind of attitude, where if you feel like you need to assert a certain conservatism within, office politics or a conservative company, like, you're telling your younger coworkers or your other coworkers and colleagues that this is how we are, like, we pull our hair back, we don't wear big curly hair, like, these are the generally accepted standards for black people, whereby, like, in an office we are conservative, we fit in, but really, like, if we just break those stereotypes and instead of perpetuating the same, like, thought process, then we'll never see change. So
true.
So
let it out.
And we're multifaceted. Let it out. Let it out.
Freedom. So I want to bring Jelani in here at this point. You're a creative professional, a scholar. What drove you to cut your locks? I mean, you were growing them for 10 years. Like, what? That's a commitment. What would make you change that?
Well, to start to the beginning of why I had my locks, to kind of give some context to it.
Yeah, please.
I come from I come from a financial background as well too. I worked for
really? Everybody? Yeah.
I was totally just listening until I could chime in, and I knew you were gonna like bring me into this. But I also come from a financial institution, and I worked there for 7 years. And this is when I was like 20 years old, and I was still very young, and still am, I hope. And at that point, I had fade, waves, perfect lineup, everything sharp, and it was just like every time I had a haircut, it was, oh, nice hair, it looks good, we like it sharp. But anytime my hair continued to grow out, and it just would grow out. I'm not the guy that goes to the barber every Thursday. I'm just not that guy. So eventually my hair would grow out, and I would often hear, hey, Jelani, when are you going to cut your hair? Or, hey, Jelani, we like it short. And I'm just like, wait a minute. And this was 10 years ago. So
right.
I imagine that, that type of dialogue has changed as a result of, I'm hoping conversation and a broader diversity. But, 10 years ago, I was faced with these type of conversations. And at the time, I was really getting into my identity of who I was and learning and, really growing as a young man. So at that time, I didn't know it, but I definitely knew I was a resistance agent. And that obviously shown in my hair, because I made a decision to start growing my hair and locking my hair while I was at work to, in one sense, resist their ideology of my expectation of how I was looking. And I also was like fitting into my own particular identity.
So how was that at work? Like, you were growing out your hair, you're doing natural, not combing it. How was that received in the office? You actually did this.
It was the same deal. It was like they had this, romantic remembrance of me having short hair and wanting to look like that, and that's what they felt like was my representation. But I was like, wait, no. This sort of representation is what I was pulling from pop culture, essentially, right? But I didn't want that to be my particular representation, so I had to resist and fight, and not fight in the sense of like literally fighting, but my fight was my hair, So I sort of had that, and without knowing, this duality of representation and resistance while I was at work.
And what brought you to? And why, after this resistance and this commitment for 10 years, like, what made you do the big chop? This is like the reverse big chop almost.
Yeah, like, totally, right? Like, it became that again became my identification, because we put so much into, there's so much discourse about black hair and the representation, and like it needs to be a certain way, or, we have to use it as our identity. And for me, it was like, wait a minute. The same thing. It's like I echo the same sentiment. Like, I'm not my hair. I'm Jelani Morgan, regardless of how my hair is going to be. So
beautiful. Yeah.
After that 10 years, it was like, end of an era. It was an end of an era for me. And not to say that I'm not going to have locks again, because I have this, romantic idea of having Billy Ocean gray locks, and one day
bring it back, man. We can bring it back. We're gonna just,
maybe one day that'll happen, but I'm just sort of rolling with what I have right now, and again, not really making a particular statement to say that this is my hair, but definitely I know I'm not going to be permanent. I definitely know I'm not going to be killing it because the amazing women to my left will not.
So what do you put?
That's the versatility of black hair, you know.
So, Irene, what would you recommend that he put in his hair?
What do I recommend that he put on his hair?
Yeah, like you have to take care of your hair. You have to put things in it.
Oh, well, that's where I come in now, because for me, it's hair. It's a health issue. I look at it as from a perspective of health, because what you put on your hair, you really absorb into your body, and that's how I approach it now when it comes to hair. So LocSuria was developed again on that basis of maintaining our hair naturally with utilizing natural products.
Do you have any of it? Could I see some of that?
Oh, absolutely.
Just hold it up so I could.
This is one of them. Two of them here.
Two of them, and this is a.
There are 5 pieces in the line.
There's 5 pieces in this line, and it's a full system from a shampoo, conditioner, moisturizer.
To natural hair oil. Yeah.
All natural.
Yes.
Wow, that is awesome. And Kristen, I'm gonna bring you in on this one. You've been quiet there the whole time. Thanks for being patient. What you review products for hair? Like, what have you seen on the market? And I noticed you've also cut your locks off. You've had them for a while. Tell me a bit about that.
I also had my locks for 10 years.
Wow.
And cut them off. Well, I picked them out last year.
Yeah.
After mulling it over for about a year, because I had obviously gotten very attached to them. When the thought started to cross my mind that maybe it's time to cut my hair, because I always wondered, I would see people with really beautiful locks, and then you see them again and they cut it all off, and I'm like, how could you actually do that? And I never realized that I would get to that point myself.
I get it, me too.
And as soon as I did, and I was ready, and I thought about it, and I was ready. I worked myself up to it, and when I made that transition, I do not regret my decision at all. I have been enjoying rediscovering my hair because with it in its locked state, there were certain restrictions with it. So now that the locks have been cut off and I can try the different products, it's been interesting. It's been great. A lot of the products, many of them are natural. They realize the importance of having sulfate-free, paraben-free, certain things not in the products. They realize the importance and the fragility, I guess, of black hair. So there has been that similarity in all the products that I've tried. They pride themselves in being natural.
Maybe you should do a review of Irene's product, and you should post that on your website.
Yeah,
oh, definitely. I'll have you try it, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I would love to.
So that would be good. You should check that out. All the links to everyone's websites will be below this video, so definitely check that out, and you'll be able to see stuff there. So,
Ricardo, what about you?
What about me? This is, I'll jump in. So I have been shaving my head for over 25 years, and recently got challenged to grow my hair for a month straight because I'm like, I don't want to grow my hair, So I'm like, fine, I'm going to grow it for 1 month. At the end of the month, I'm shaving it back. I don't like hair. So ended up growing it for a month, then that turned into 2, then I'm like, it's just feeling kind of nice. I'm like, I just kind of got into it because I started getting different reactions from people where they wouldn't recognize me. They thought I was way younger than I was. And it was just like, really? I'm like, I thought you were going bald. I'm like, no, I have no hair. It wasn't anything. I just didn't want to keep it on my head. And but I started enjoying it and like really, not that I had anything against my hair, I just really embraced it. I never had long hair. Like, this is the longest my hair's ever been in my life. It's always been like shaved and cut and, proper appearances. My father was always like, make sure you have a nice haircut with a line up and the whole, Yeah. And I just never questioned that. And like, I guess later on in life when I got challenged to it, I was like, yeah, let's just see what happens if I let it go. and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
This is the most
Nice.
freeing, beautiful experience I've had in years, and it's I just love it. I don't even comb it anymore. I just let it do what it does, and I just rumple it up.
What do you say that you do again?
Rumple it up, and I rumple it up. And
You don't come.
what? You
That's
don't know
it.
what a rumple is? You can't. I rumple it. It feels nice. You know, it feels good. So I use an oil, a light oil that my mom gave me. It was called argan oil. So I put that in my hair, and then I just rumple it. And that's how it is. This is how it's growing out of my head.
That looks
So
good.
I love it.
Nice.
I love it. Thank you.
I love the oil and go movement. Don't worry.
Oh my God.
So, Addie, let me jump back in here and get to the guest. Now nobody wants to talk to me. But Addie, you're an entrepreneur. You have a swimwear line, and you went into a bank recently with your hair all out. Like, what happened?
Oh yeah. Well, I went in. Well, yeah, I went to one of the like a bank for entrepreneurs, I guess, and it was a good but also weird experience. Like, it's this like constant battle with me. Like, I want to break free of that kind of lifestyle that I was in of being being a professional to like the max, and going in with a suit and having my hair done right and presenting my business plan and trying to get some money from them. But I was actually talking with my friend about this yesterday, like this idea of like, I don't really know if I should say this.
Well, say
okay,
it.
I'll say.
We're family here. We're gonna have the conversation. Just say it. You can say what you want.
Well, she was actually asking me about how I would, if I ever came back to the, like corporate life or 9-to-5 kind of life where I have to do interviews and start all over again, like, would I keep my hair like this or would I straighten it? And my immediate reaction was like, hell no, like, I'm done that. Like, I'm done trying to be somebody else. I'm done the whole, put on the suit and try to act right. And when I say act right, but like, I'm always very professional, but like, and she kept trying to call my bluff. She's like, you're BSing me. Like, that's not true. There's actually 2 of us over at my place last night, and we had an argument about this for over an hour.
Oh, my goodness.
And we couldn't agree. She's like, just tell me, just say that this is what you do. And I'm like, no, like, I'm done. Like, this is who I am. This is what, I don't ever want to go back to a place where you need to act like you are somebody else. And even going into that bank and trying to get that loan, which I didn't get. We're all family, right?
Keep trucking. Don't worry. Don't let that stop you, girl. Let's just keep going.
Exactly. Like, I did go in with, just with me. Like, I was being me. I still looked good. I still looked right. But like, it was just more an edge, with an edge. Like, it was still me. Like, would I have gotten the loan? Like, had I gone in with a straight hair and a suit? Like, probably not, because hopefully then, they want to see more numbers. They want to see more sales. But yeah, but.
And Carlin, let me jump to you for a second here. You're engaged. You're about to be married. You're going to be walking down that aisle in a few months. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
What's going through your head? There's a light. Someone turn on a light in here. What's going through your head about what's on your head for your wedding?
Oh, but even before we get to the
yet?
wedding, I just want to touch on something. I mean, it's going to be the flip for you, Ricardo, because I know we're both in interracial relationships, but
Yes.
I've always dated black guys my whole life, so I never felt like I had to explain my hair or talk about my hair and say every winter my hair gets longer, and for the rest of the year I go short. When I met my now fiance, he's European, first European guy I've ever dated. And I remember going through that period of, and actually the weekend I met him, I had my short hair.
Right.
And that was the weekend it was in December, that was the weekend I had to go do my weave. So actually on our first date, so he met me with short hair. On our first date, I had long, flowing, curly hair. And I'm walking to the restaurant saying, oh my, how am I going to explain this to this white boy about black hair? Like, you know, like, am I going to have to go into this whole explanation? But the amazing thing about it was that he had actually dated, he's always dated black girls, so I didn't really have to explain anything. So for him, it was all like, oh, you did your hair, it looks great.
Yeah.
And even throughout our relationship, when I used to perm my hair, I remember once I was in the bathroom, you know, I was doing a little touch-up, and, you know, and he walked by and he's like, babes, don't forget to base your hair, you know, don't forget, you know, behind your, and I was like,
oh my goodness.
You got a little something in the yellow.
Black hair and basing your scalp like this.
That's amazing.
But so that was again something that, and I think it echoes. There's a saying that goes like, when you show up as you are, the world accepts you as you are.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, going through my whole journey of, you know, weave, you know, perm, not perm, and now natural, like I never felt like, you know, I have to explain, or I have to find the right fit, or I have to look a certain way. I think we allow the external, the media and everybody else to put that pressure on ourselves.
Right.
And even for me, for my wedding, just trying to find, like, I don't know what I want to do with my hair yet. I mean, I'm going to take this out probably in the next couple of weeks. I'm just trying to figure out, okay, what do I do? What look do I want? But the problem I'm having is that, Ricardo, we don't have enough representation of this. I'm looking at bridal magazines. All I'm seeing is white girls and long, curly, flowy hair. Like, there's more to us and to life than one look. So my issue, I should say, is, can we have more representation of us, of different looks, of the big flowy curly hair, of the short hair, of the braids? Because it's all part of who we are, and I love that freedom that comes with us doing whatever we want with our hair, because it's ours.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, so long story short, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, Jelani, Irene, I may have to come see you.
Yes. That's the versatility of our hair. Go back to that again. I mean, our hair can do so much, you know, and it's a choice now wherein you can wear it naturally styled as a bride, you know. So I mean, I welcome that, you know.
Yeah. I mean, well, one thing's for sure, whether it's pressed or it's weaved or it's straight or anything in between, everybody has something to consider when it comes to black hair. I want to thank you all for joining us, Adiam, Carlin, Jelani, Irene, and Kristen. Now we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what you think. Leave a comment below and share this with a friend. Thank you for watching. This has been Black in Canada, Conversations That Matter. My name is Ricardo, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Ricardo.
Thank you.